When you are not where you belong, you will pay a premium price for everything in life. People either want to be you, use you, compete with you, or remove you. When you are where you belong, people cherish you. There is a sense of mutual respect. Hello, darlings. My name is Cassandra. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. In today's video, I'm going to show you a quick ritual on how to find your place in the world. This is a very touchy-feely video. I mean, I don't know how to say it any better, but I think a lot of people go through this. This is in the Angels of Empowered Magic by the Gallery of Magic. I think it is free to members of a Gallery of Magic, which if you Google Gallery of Magic, you will see the details. And I purchased this book, but I didn't because I wanted a hard copy. But anyway, the ritual to discover where you belong. It's on page 87. And the angel's name is Mebael. And I don't know if you can see that. Discover where you belong, Mebael. Now, this ritual, to me, in my opinion, I know everybody like to do love rituals and money rituals, you know what I'm saying, and just other stuff. But in my opinion, this should be one of the first rituals you do. To discover where you belong in the world, or maybe wisdom, or together. Like do wisdom and then do discovery, but those two go together because a lot of our conflict is because we're not exactly where we're supposed to be. And we don't know where we belong. I think that we belong where, where you will discover that where you belong changes as you evolve and grow. But you have to look for the signs of when it's time to move on. I think that's a ticket. Because, it may be home for a while. Like when you go away to college, your dorm, that's your home for a while. But you don't get to stay there. Or your first job at Little Caesars. That was my first job. That was home initially. But I had to move on. When you're at home with your parents and you move out. So I think the thing is understanding your journey. Understanding where you belong is about understanding your journey and being truthful with yourself. And I think that is so hard for people. When the world is constantly telling us what we should do, who we should be, how much money we need to earn. Surely you don't want to be, do this or do that. How do you know where you belong? But I'm just going to talk about how you know where you don't belong. I know if you are someplace where people can fire you, demote you, take something from you, it was never yours. It was that, when you create your own space in the world, your own, that's why I try to tell my students all the time, start your own YouTube channel, have your own social media accounts. I think that, in my opinion, I could be wrong, guys, I think everybody in the world has a really good book inside of them. Every individual on this planet. But I think, there is some gift that you have. There's, even if it's just talking to people, getting people to open up to you, making people laugh. But discovering where you belong in the world, to me, or rediscovering, because I think you probably remember, but then somewhere around 3rd or 4th grade, people started telling you, what you should do and be, because you should say, what do you want to be? I want to be a cowboy. And they started saying, oh, you can't do that. Well, and you kind of like, what about a teacher? You know what I mean? You start coming up with plans so that you wouldn't seem crazy to other people. And then somewhere along the way, you lost your way. But anyway, I'm going to tell you some signs that to know where when you are in a situation where you don't belong there. Because sometimes it's not just knowing where you belong, because that may take a moment, because where you belong is always shifting. But maybe understanding when you're not at home, where you're not welcome. And here are some signs, in my opinion. I know people are going to disagree with me, but I think that if you are talking to people and they think you are bragging, you are not where you belong. Nope. I know people say, but no, you can be boastful. So imagine you are Simone, what's her name? Simone Biles. Is her last name Biles? The girl, the Olympic star, or you know what I'm saying. And you are talking about, oh man, I had a really good day at rehearsal. I was tearing it up. Now, if you are talking to girls who are nowhere near your level, they think, why is she bragging? But when she's talking to people who's on her level, they're going to be talking about their flips and giving each other, exchanging tips. I just kind of feel, I have observed this, and I know people disagree with me, but I remember one time I was at a book club meeting, and one of the book club members was talking about her ski trip, and it was really exciting because she had never gone skiing before. But people later on was saying she was bragging. I didn't think she was bragging. I was so interested. Like, what happened next, and how did you feel? It's kind of like if you're in an atmosphere where people kind of feel like, whenever you talk about your accomplishments, or you talk about something good and they want to like bring the conversation down. Let's bring this conversation down to a level where I can communicate with you. Or maybe they want to start talking about sad things that happened to them. And your vibration was here, but now you have to bring it down because, they're no longer able to vibe with your conversation. Now, what happens to you is you will find yourself getting further and further away from where you belong, because it's almost like your compass is no longer working. So I believe that joy is the compass. When we follow joy and bliss, it takes us to the things that we love, the people that we love, the goals and dreams that we love. But when we are in an environment where you can't talk about your promotion because everybody else is talking about, well, they can't make their rent payment. So now you don't want to talk about your promotion, and maybe you're not as motivated. You're kind of motivated on your job, but you could do even better. But can you understand? You understand what I'm saying, guys? So if you're someplace where people think you are bragging because you're doing well, that is, you got to accept the fact. And in the previous video, I was talking about creativity. And the dangers of it is isolation. So part of discovering where you belong is understanding that you may take this journey alone. Now, an example to me is, y'all know I love Miss Harriet Tubman. You know that. Now, when she first tried to escape the first 4 times, she tried to bring her family with her, her siblings, her parents, her friends. Everybody, turned on her. They bailed on her, they told on her. This is I read her biography I don't know how many times, and she had to take that journey alone. And you understand what I'm saying? Discovering where you belong is a journey you take alone, right? So you can't get mad at people because they don't want to go to med school, or because they don't want to stay up all night and make videos. You can't get mad at people or get angry because you're thinking like, oh, let's go to the gym. And they're just like, no, let's just chill. No, listen, that journey to discover where you belong, that road is paved for you, baby. Yeah, that may be a very, very lonely journey. Now, another sign that you are not where you belong, and this kind of ties together a little bit, is where people think you're weird. So, you're trying to talk to them, and maybe, you're talking about my crazy self, aliens and other worlds and beings, and they're thinking like, I'm not into the occult, or why are you so weird, or I don't believe in that, or whatever. There's nothing wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to find new friends. So if you find yourself if you find yourself in situations where you have to let people take chips off of you so you can fit into their box. The way I was thinking of it, it's like you're a sculpture of the way you've come into this world, but you have to keep losing pieces of yourself to fit in. You don't belong there, but you gotta, again, what I keep reminding you, to find the tribe that vibes with who you are, to where you really belong. You're gonna have to be brave, because this is the other thing. That home may not exist yet. You may be the first to create it. Hip hop didn't always exist. When somebody first created it, people kept saying that it was a fad. It wasn't going to be around long, but hip hop is still here today. So just remember that this home that we're talking about is really about being in alignment with your mission and your purpose while you are here on this planet, and knowing that home is inside of you. Home is your truth of who you are. That's really your home. You understand? It's not what other people think. It's not you allowing yourself to think small or not do your absolute best because you are worried about losing friends or losing family. You have to be who you are. That's the thing about discovering who you are. Once you do the magic, again, like I said, people love to do that, to do money and love is a favorite, especially money. But to me, it's going to be more difficult to make money when you haven't discovered your true gifts and talents. Now, another clue that you are not where you belong, child, is when you are around people who cannot wait to pounce on your mistakes. Have you ever been around? Now, this is something, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to turn anybody off, but if I do, again, I have to be truthful, right? So I know for a lot of you may not know this, or you do, but listen, I have 2 masters and a doctorate degree, and I don't like telling people that. It's because I feel like people think I should know everything, and they can't wait for me to make a grammatical mistake, or they'll say things like, I don't have a PhD and I know that. You don't need a PhD to have that comment. They can't wait to come for you, right? I don't tell me, look, I don't want you to, because they want you to be perfect, right? It's almost like they're just looking for your underbelly, to see if you're human. They want to bring you down. And so what happens is, you find yourself in an environment where you are no longer evolving because you need to remain where people respect you. So the example would be, having these degrees in sociology and psychology, and then to have a YouTube channel about magic. In chapter 1 in psychology, it debunks magic. It says it's not true. And what about, third party tests? And, there is everything, this is, do you know what it's like to, to be on a journey where you are evolving to see the world in a whole nother way? And then you worry that people won't respect you or people won't like you because you got 2 masters and a doctorate. You should know there's no such thing as magic. And then you make dolls, and how weird are you? You see what I'm saying? But again, where you belong, it has to do with being in alignment with your truth and the things that you enjoy, and being willing to go along on that journey. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this before, and please don't be offended. Please, God, don't be offended. But I love black people. And I'm going to tell you why I love black people. I love all people, but I'm going to tell you why I love black people. I don't want to say, when I say black people, I mean African Americans, and I don't mean that I don't love other people, but I want to share something with you about discovering where you belong. We all know the story of what happened, right? Taken from your motherland, being stripped of your culture, and the people who you know, tied you up, were your neighbors and your friends, and they sold you from your motherland. So it's like, all right, so my motherland don't want me, right? And now I'm coming to a land where they only want to use me, and they don't want me either. Can you imagine the mindset of a motherless being? Motherless meaning being disconnected from their mother planet in that way, being snatched from the womb of their mom to come somewhere where they're not wanted, where they're abused. Do you understand? I'm talking about this collective energy, right? So to me, when I see like somebody like, in my mind, I was thinking about Obama. I was thinking about even Muhammad Ali. I'm just thinking about all of these people, that I just, Michael Jackson, I know Prince. It just seems to me like there's just a uniqueness about African Americans to me, because it's like I don't want to say that, because I'm African American, I don't want to say they were homeless, but it's almost like, when I would hear other students in the classroom talk about from other, like, I'm from Cameroon, or I'm from Nigeria, or I'm this or that, and but we made our way in this world. We created, when I look at Beyonce, when I look at, I know I'm naming celebrities, but there are other people as well. I'm only naming these people because these are people we can all agree on. Like, if I tell you that I'm talking about Uncle Bob, you're going to be like, who is Uncle Bob, right? But I feel like we made our way in this world. We just to discover where we belong against the odds. And let me just say, one of the things I used to teach African American psychology, and I used to talk, we used to talk about the different groups who came to this country, but they came willingly. They came with their culture. They came with their understanding, their religion, who they are. And so to me, of course, you have nail shops. Of course, like even the fact that we, have these beauty salons where we're buying our hair from other people and not from people who look like us. It's because we were snatched from our mother's womb, and we are constantly looking for our home where we belong. But it's a home that we have to create for ourselves. Because I look at a person's religion, their native tongue, all of these things that, they've been able to hold on to. The more they're able to hold on to those things, to me, I like to call it their psychological and spiritual software. So you know who you are. That's what gives you your fight. Like the Jewish people, they went through the Holocaust, right? And they still landed economically on their feet because they had their cultural tools, their spiritual tools, their psychological tools, their culture, their religion. So no matter what somebody was telling them, like, you this, that, or the other, or I'm going to put you here, when you know who your God is and what you believe, and you're able to hold on to that, that helps you know where you belong in this world. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like, as an African American woman, I have always been on this journey of discovering where I belong in this world. Who is my tribe? Who likes me for who I am, and never really feeling like I fit anywhere. But I've found, just through my spiritual journey, is that my home is my truth. My home is when I wake up, if I'm doing this channel today and I believe in this magic, but I wake up next week and I say, I don't believe this anymore, I'm not going to be making videos about magic because it's no longer home. And I think that when we think of home, sometimes we think of it as a place where we stay forever. But I think that home is being at peace inside of who you are, no matter if where you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're the only person who believes in you, that's enough. And then and you have to allow like-minded people to find you, but you can't fake it and discover where you belong. I really hope this video helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you darlings in the next video.